Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our admins, and the message reads like this. Hello, my brother. I did say that I would come and explain how mermaids really work and why some people regard them as evil. Well, for starters, not all mermaids are evil. What happens is that mermaids, they have a strict rule that they need to follow. Like I told you that the reason as to why my mother had to die, it was because of the rule that her tribe had been keeping for thousands and thousands of years. This is the rule that kept her tribe alive after ancestors that used to be angels, when they also flew down from heaven. This was because there was a disagreement that happened in heaven. Yes, there are a lot of things that are not written in the Bible that we know, that we cannot understand. There was a huge debate that happened in the heavens, and my mother's ancestors, they also flew down from heaven, but they were not part of the angels that had a rebellion. They just didn't want to take part in the war that happened in heaven. It is just like today, if there is a world war, then when you do not decide to take part in that war, it is very obvious that you are going to go to another place or to another country where there is a little bit of peace. This is what happened to these mermaids that we know today. They flew down from the heavens, then they started to live in the water. So since these angels, they did not rebel, and since they did not mate with other humans like what other fallen angels, the rebellious ones, did, because they wanted to provoke the creator. So there was a rule that when the flood was going to come, it was only going to destroy those fallen angels that slept with the children of men. So my mother's tribe, because it did not partake in the rebellion, it did not partake in the war, then my mother's tribe was not destroyed, because my mother's tribe had actually evolved. And these mermaids and the mermaids, they have a good spirit, and they are usually taken from the earth, and they go and they receive training on various diseases and how they are treated. Usually when one complete their training, that is when they resurface and can be reintegrated back into the society without any problem at all. It is just that they would have vast knowledge of the various uses of the flora and fauna. Take, for example, my mother's tribe, when they flew down from heaven, because they were there in the making when God was busy creating the flora and the fauna. So they knew which herb had been created by God for which type of a disease, since God already knew what exactly was going to happen. So when he was creating the trees and the flowers in advance, he was already preparing, knowing that the children of men, when they were going to fall from grace, then disease was going to be introduced into the world, and then he was going to provide for them the tools that they were going to use so that they can fight against these diseases that were going to come up from the earth. This was after God would have cursed the children of men. So my mother's tribe, since they already knew everything about the flora and fauna, after the flood, that is when they started to take one by one the children of men, those ones that they saw that this one, if we can take him, he seems to be someone who is not greedy, someone who has a kind heart, then they will take him underneath the water, and then the person will be trained. In our Shona culture, that is where most of the traditional healers came from, because they would go underneath the water at least for a month, then they will be trained about different types of herbs to use, then they will be brought up again into the earth so that they can do their job as they would have been taught. It is only in recent times that is when the mermaids are viewed as some creatures that are quite evil. Mermaids can take any physical form that they fancy, from the physical bodies of humans to animals. A mermaid can come shopping, go to school, work all undetected by humans. It is not like the they prance the streets with their fish tails. No, it is just human understanding. The trick is to blend in, not to stick out. I just want to say that not all the beautiful ladies out there are mermaids. No, some people are just ordinary human beings with no attachment at all to the underworld. If your ancestors used to associate themselves with these mermaids, you see these girls that go around sleeping around and claiming that they have the marine spirits, know that the marine spirits that will be possessing their body, they are not the good marine spirits. It is those mermaids that would have been kicked out of their tribe. So they go around looking for any person to possess, because mermaids naturally, they are born into a tribe, they are born into a family. Therefore they cannot live in a world that is dark, cold and lonely. They always want to be in a family. So this dark mermaid will go around recruiting as many people as it can, so that it can create its own tribe and it will become the head of that tribe. So there are a lot of mermaids out there. It is just that we do not understand the things that happened in heaven. For what we do not know is that there was a council there in heaven, more like a democratic government that was being run. So each and every decision that was being taken, then there were people that would vote out. That is why you see that it was always said the sons of God. You need to understand when it is said that the sons of God then said, let us do A, B, C. So even when the war broke out, there were many factions that then went into different directions and they all started their own worlds. And once again, these worlds are going to come back together. And most of the people that are going to be living at that time, they are the ones that are going to understand everything that happened when the world began, when the war in heaven actually happened. Hope that my story, it is going to enlighten other people out there. And I want people to know that there is another world that we cannot see, a world that we can touch, but at the same time, this world, it is just right next door to us, just that we do not have the keys to open the doors to go and see what this world holds for us. This is my own confession. Yes, I know that a lot of people are going to say that I am possessed, I come from the marine kingdom, but I have tried by all means to tell you that it is not all the angels that are bad. The bad ones, as I highlighted earlier on, are those that rebelled and were banished, and those are the ones that causes havoc in the life of humans by making people miserable through bad luck and sickness. The mermaid world is a kingdom with the queens, the priests and the priestesses down to the workers. And yes, mermaids can have babies just like humans do. When these angels decided to go underneath the water to hide from mankind after they had seen what the fallen angels were doing with the children of men, they thought that the most safest place where the human beings could not live was underneath the oceans. That is the reason as to why, even though we are trying to explore everything that is in our skies, but you will never hear anyone saying, why don't we go underneath the ocean so that we can explore what exactly is it that is in our oceans? But there is a world down there that even if it is revealed to us today, most of the people, they would not even understand what they will be looking at. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our admins. Quite a confusing confession. Please tell me if you understood this confession. She was saying that underneath the ocean, there is a kingdom there. Do you believe that, or you do not believe it? Strange things do happen in this world. How many Bibles are there? Because most of the people, they claim that there is another Bible that we do not understand, because she told us a lot of stuff that we do not even understand. Most of the information, it is the first time ever hearing that kind of an information. But if you understood but if you understood this confession, please tell me in the comment section.